Keith's mini clubman estate had died. It came to a noble end. This meant the only company transport was an elderly Honda 50. I had fitted a ridiculously large metal rack to the back of said moped, this meaning I could now deliver and collect parts, well within reason. But us two riding to work on it got old very, very quickly. Luckily, my neighbours, the ones with the incredible gothic rock album collection, had a less impressive but more just about functional Talbot Horizon car for sale, albeit in a rather nauseating yellow hue. As was par for the course, the engine's top end sounded like someone rolling a dustbin full of nails down the stairs when running. Windscreen scuttles terminally rotted out, but the MOT still had a few months to run. Ideal that they only wanted rid of the thing, and 3 crisp tenors bought it. I donated it to Keith in return for 3 days' work, that last word being used in its broadest sense, of course. Things went on fine for a few weeks, until one morning I arrived at the yard to discover a now black Talbot Horizon sat on the drive with Keith sat in it on his denim jacket waiting for me. It truly was a sight to behold. Runs all down the glass, what looked like fluff and dead insects stuck in the paint, it having a sort of Artex finish now. There then followed a hilarious "Wow, boss" conversation, from which I gathered after some sort of encounter with the law, the details of such seemingly kept vague, there was an immediate need to disguise the Talbot's appearance in order for continued liberty. The method of this superficial transformation employed a large tin of hammerite being rapidly tipped onto the roof, bonnet and tailgate before liberal spreading around with his wife's ex-cobwebbing brush, the only thing he could find in the house to do it with. The startling results of which held my father speechless upon spotting the car for several minutes. 2 years is a long time for a moped. At least it is when it has spent those years in the ownership of three separate 16-year-olds. This was the conclusion I came to while staring at a poor little 1990 Kawasaki AR50 leant against a wall in front of me. My brother wants 200 for it. He's away at the moment, but I got to get him some cash for when he comes out. This nugget of wisdom being imparted from the hopeful vendor. We were stood in the living room of his first floor flat on a bright autumnal evening in October. I vaguely pondered how he had got it up the stairs, but dismissed it as, after all, what goes up must come down. It was leant against the wall because the side stand had been snapped off, indicators missing, exhaust all scuffed, foot pegs bent, fork seals leaking, and various scrapes over the paintwork. I asked to view the paperwork, this confirming the three previous careful owners. A very long 2 years indeed. 200's a bit strong. I wouldn't value it at that. That price is no good to me. A ton and I'll take it away tonight. Cash money in your hand right now. I looked him in the eye as I pulled the mix of fives and tens out from my leather jacket. Rachel was fidgeting beside me, sniffing and looking around, the residence having a somewhat pungent air about it. I'd watched Paul do a deal with enough people over the years to know this one was pretty much in the bag. I rearranged the notes in my hand, adding a 20 from another pocket. Right, 120, that's the death on it, I said, moving towards the hallway, but you gotta help us get it out. 10 minutes later, it was down in the car park and loaded onto the trailer, hooked to our old Cortina. While Dad drove us back, I mentally congratulated myself. A moped that was only 2 years old and cost over £800 for 120 quid. I'd all but nicked it. Keith couldn't believe how rough it looked for its age either when we arrived home in the morning. I shared my ace card with him. In the shed, in kit form, was the remains of an older example of the same model bike I had bought. We set about making one really smart bike out of the two. Within a week I had something I could sell, and for good money. Changed the fork seals, left me with a black dye. This occurred after Keith managed to let a stanchion hit me in the face while I was supporting the bike, and he removed the fork from its yoke. The exhaust repair became a lot tougher when we realised that in a recent break in the yard, someone had nicked the welding mask. Keith said he would just put his hand up each time he struck the tack. Problem was, Keith couldn't rub his tummy whilst patting his head. This inability to synchronise his movements meaning he ended up with a dose of archi. When he arrived the next morning, his eyes looked like overripe weeping tomatoes. Apparently, he hadn't had any sleep the previous night because of the soreness. Thankfully, they improved as the day went on. I got the advert in time, and over the weekend the phone went crazy. I should have put it up for more money, really. It's selling to the first bloke to view for £475, and I agreed to deliver it the following Monday evening. Hello, thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed this story and would like to hear more from my second book, I wouldn't value it at that. And please subscribe to the channel and also look at my other videos. Thank you. Take care.